Wealthy crime novelist Harlan Thrombey invites his extended family to his remote mansion on his 85th birthday to deliver important though disappointing news to several family members. However, Harlan's housekeeper Fran finds him dead in his study the following day. The police and experienced private Benoit Blanc are called in to investigate. Throughout a series of interviews with members of the family, secrets are revealed, as well as possible motives for murder. Richard, Harlan's son-in-law, was discovered to have cheated on his wife Linda, Harlan's daughter, with Harlan threatening to expose him. Joni, Harlan's daughter-in-law, and wife of his deceased son Neil, was exposed by Harlan after she stole $400,000 from him by sourcing duplicate checks meant for her daughter Megan, to a private bank account. Walter, Harlan's youngest son, was fired from his father's publishing company during the birthday party. Linda and Richard's son Ransom had discovered he'd been cut out of the will entirely. It is then revealed that Harlan's caretaker Marta Cabrera took Harlan upstairs to give him his nightly medication after the party. After beginning to play a game of Go, Harlan jokingly knocked the board off of the table before Marta could give him his medication. Marta picked up the bottles and injected him but realized she accidentally gave him 100 milligrams of morphine. To protect his friend, Harlan gave her strict instructions on escaping and avoiding suspicion before slitting his throat, leaving Marta shocked. Marta then drove away, parked her car, and returned to the house through the gate entrance before climbing up the trellis on the side of the house, and wearing Harlan's coat and hat, to confuse Walter, who had seen Marta leave, ruling her out as a suspect. The police question Marta, as she is a trustworthy source due to her inability to lie without vomiting. Still, she makes it through her interrogation without fail. Suspecting foul play, Blanc is determined to find the actual cause of death. The next day, Blanc, along with Marta and the police, searches the house and its surroundings for clues, many of which Marta can cover up before the detectives can find them. Since it is the day of Harlan's will reading, the family anxiously awaits the reveal. They are shocked to hear that Harlan left everything to Marta, including his inheritance, the house, and company. Despite the family's kindness to Marta the night prior, they quickly turn on her, but Ransom helps her escape. Ransom and Marta go to a local restaurant, where Ransom coaxes Marta into telling him everything. Meanwhile, the family members realize that if Marta can be proven as the murderer, they will regain their inheritance. They insist that the murder investigation continue. Blanc confirms his suspicion of foul play, adding that everyone is still a potential suspect. This leads to Marta receiving a Ransom note reading, "I know what you did," along with a partial photocopy of Harlan's toxicology report. Marta drives with Ransom to the medical examiner's office, only to find it up in flames and to swarm with police. At Ransom's insistence, Marta checks her email and finds an address and time. Blanc spots the pair before they engage in a car chase. Still, Marta and Ransom are ultimately unable to evade their pursuers before Ransom is arrested after Juanetta, Harlan's mother and elderly matriarch of the family, falsely identifies Marta as him at the house. Marta drives to the address only to find Fran, drugged. Marta performs CPR on her and calls the police, ensuring Fran gets to the hospital safely. On the drive back to the mansion, Marta reveals everything to Blanc, who discourages her from confessing to the family. However, Blanc tells her to stop at the last minute when he spots something in a copy of the full toxicology report that Fran had hidden away. The police bring Ransom to the house and place him in a private room where Blanc and Marta are waiting. Blanc reveals that he deduced the murder and shows what he knows. Ransom stormed out after discovering Marta's inheritance from Harlan the night of the party and decided to frame her for his murder. He swapped the contents of the medication vials and removed the emergency morphine counteragent, ensuring the morphine overdose. Then he swapped the vials back while the rest of the family was at Harlan's funeral. Fran saw Ransom in Harlan's study that day and deduced his involvement in Harlan's death, prompting her to send him the ransom letter, which Ransom then sent to Marta after cutting out the address. Ransom then burnt down the medical examiner's office to ensure that Harlan's blood work was destroyed. Ransom confronted Fran and drugged her with morphine, nearly killing her before destroying the original copy of the toxicology report, and emailing Marta Fran's location, to fool the police into believing Marta had murdered Fran. Blanc then reveals that the toxicology report shows that Harlan wasn't poisoned, and that Marta instinctively gave Harlan the correct medication. However, noticing the mislabeling didn't know, Marta receives a call from the hospital and says that Fran is alive, forcing Ransom to admit his crimes before angrily vowing revenge and legal recourse on Marta. At the last moment, Marta vomits on Ransom, revealing that she lied and that Fran died at the hospital. Enraged that he had been tricked into admitting murder and arson, Ransom attempts to stab Marta, but the knife is one of Harlan's many props. He is then taken into police custody while the rest of the family watches in disgust. As Ransom is taken away, the remaining Thrombey family looks up to the mansion's balcony, to see Marta sipping from Harlan's signature coffee cup, with the label "My House, My Rules, My Coffee."